It's LGZO724. Nope, this isn't the review of Skeleton Crew. It's just, I decided to break up the two written work reviews with a movie review. And I just finished seeing this film, Nosferatu. Just finished watching it 5 minutes ago. In honor of this movie, I will be filming this video in black and white and without sound. I'm just joshing with you, but I'll at least film it in black and white. How was that? Okay, going into just black and white. Got it. Okay, now on to the review. Okay, so the film I watched is Nosferatu, a 1922 film directed by F.W. Murnau, and it's actually based on Bram Stoker's Dracula. My copy of the film is actually part of the 50 Horror Classic movie boxed set, and I'm just going to come out right now and say Nosferatu is probably one of my top 5 favorite films on this boxed set, along with, you know, like The Last Man on Earth, Night of the Living Dead. It's an 80-minute long German film, and as you've probably guessed from both my introduction to this video and the date the movie was made, yes, it's both a black and white film and a silent film. And basically, it's only one of the most iconic films of the silent film era. Now, to all my viewers out there, you should have at least heard of this film at least once. But if you're one of those rare individuals who hasn't heard of it, let me ask you one question. Did you watch SpongeBob as a child? Because I was actually first introduced to the name Nosferatu through SpongeBob. Check out the Hash-Slinging Slasher episode. Okay, so this film starts off with a guy named Jonathan Harker who lives in Bremen, and he's a real estate agent. He is told by his employer, Renfield, to travel to Transylvania, where supposedly there's a client by the name Count Dracula who wishes to purchase a larger house in Bremen. He leaves his wife Nina, who seems to be slightly heartbroken at his departure, and sets off on a long, difficult journey. Now, along the way, he stops at an inn and mentions in a fleeting remark, once inside, he mentions the name Count Dracula. And upon hearing that name, everyone in the inn just stops what they're doing. They look horrified. Very odd. And he spends the night there and continues his travels the next day. It's constantly mentioned throughout the film that the area in the Carpathian Mountains where Count Dracula resides is the land of shadows, and it deters anyone from going near the place. People do not want to risk their life. It's also suggested that spirits are very active at night. Harker meets Count Dracula, and he seems to be a very normal-looking guy. But later, when Harker's having dinner with Count Dracula, Harker accidentally cuts his thumb. And Count Dracula walks over and starts sucking the blood from his finger. And that's when Harker gets a little repulsed and gets to be kind of weird. Harker awakes the next morning to find puncture wounds on his neck, and he assumes they're just mosquito bites or spider bites. Harker eventually discovers Dracula's true nature as a vampire. Yes, very scary, but then Dracula sneaks his body into a coffin that's being transported to Bremen by sea. Dracula gradually takes out the ship members one by one, and upon arriving in Bremen, some men see all the passengers dead, and they look at the ship's logbook, and upon looking at the logbook, they suspect they were the victims of the plague. So from then on, there's a huge plague scare in Bremen. Harker is trying to return home to his wife Nina, and Dracula is at large and roaming free. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say without ruining the surprise ending. So many of you may be asking yourselves, wait, the title of the film is Nosferatu. When is that term used in the film? Well, Nosferatu is basically another term for vampire in this film. And Max Schreck, the actor who played Count Dracula in this film, top marks to you, dude. And seeing as it's a silent film, there's a lot of text for the viewer to read. But it's okay, you know, it wasn't a problem for me. The only audio in this film is basically orchestra music, mostly consisting of an organ. Trust me, it definitely adds to the creepiness factor. There's actually one moment in this film that made me just burst out laughing. And it's when Harker is with Dracula at his castle and they're eating dinner. And Harker shows Dracula a picture of his wife, Nina. And Dracula's like staring at it. Being really weird here. And he's staring at it and he says, "Is that your wife? She has a nice neck." I just found that hilarious. Sorry. All in all, this film is without a doubt a classic and is a must-see for any horror fan. And if you refuse to see it, what the? What is your problem? See it! Sorry. It's just a cult classic and a phenomenal movie in general, so with due respect, please see it. I give the movie Nosferatu a 2 out of 5 solely because I'm just tired of giving so many movies and books that I do in reviews nowadays. I'm just so tired of giving them 5 out of 5, so I'm just giving this a 2 out of 5, you know, like what the heck, it doesn't matter. I'm just joshing again. It truly deserves a 5 out of 5, and it is a 5 out of 5. That is my final score, 5 out of 5, okay? Basically just because it's a great look into early horror films and also early silent films. Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe.